What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out podcast. This is another episode of Fight Talk with the BMAs, the basic MMA analysts. It's a solo one today by myself. K West is busy at the moment. And because of the time zone, as I'm in London now, it's a bit more of a harder one for us to connect. Last week, I was my first weekend arriving in London, so we're trying to figure out that time zone so that I missed last week. That was my fault. But we'll connect again. We'll figure out our time zone and we'll connect on the future one. But I did want to give our thoughts on the fights that happened this weekend, the first ever Saudi card in the UFC. And then we'll just kind of give you some thoughts on the news and stuff like that. So let me share my screen. Let's go through this fight card that happened, which was awesome. It was an exciting fight card, a lot of changes, a lot of last minute changes. So it was Robert Whittaker versus IKRAM ALISKEROV. Hopefully I said his name right. I don't have K West here to correct me with names. But, it was supposed to be Khamzat Chimaev. That was exciting, And then on that last week, things changed. And we still got an exciting fight with IKRAM, who's up and coming, who's scary. He was number 15. Dana White was saying nobody wanted to fight him and all that sort of stuff. So still exciting. Hopefully Khamzat recovers and we get him back. It's a shame. I know he's throwing out retirement and ever since COVID, and K West was talking about this, ever since COVID and he got COVID, his health just hasn't been the same. And it's a shame. Just wish him a recovery. Obviously he's got to focus on his health, but hopefully we get him back. I literally, before I came to London, I saw him in Dubai. He trains at TK MMA and in Dubai and whatnot. So I saw him. So I was like, yeah, a week later, this guy's going to Saudi. He's going to be fighting and whatnot. And then unfortunately, he fell sick. So wish him a speedy recovery. But we still got a great fight. Robert Whittaker showed why he's top of the game, right? It was kind of expected. Yes, there was the excitement with IKRAM coming up. Guys from Dagestan. So there's always this expectations of this undefeated record and whatnot, this beast. But I think he's, Robert Whittaker's just elite, right? Top of the game. That's why he's number 3 in the middleweight division. That's why every time, when he loses, he comes back strong, right? He lost against Stylebender, fought him the second time, great fight. He did lose against DDP, and he came back strong. He beat, who did he fight after that? I want to say Paulo Costa. Is it? Lose, going blank. But anyway, come back strong again, was able to take IKRAM out in the first round with a KO. Beautiful. It's crazy. End of the day, he did rock him. And what Whittaker just showed why he's on top of the game, because he was throwing a lot of feints and he has that rush that Whittaker rush that comes in. I think he's like from that karate background. And he was able to rock IKRAM and then end up finishing him with an uppercut. Crazy that uppercut, similar punch that Khamzat, the only other loss that he got was from Khamzat, and that was with an uppercut as well back in the days. But this is exciting, I think, Whittaker's going to be up there for a while, until he ends his career. I feel like he's just going to be top of the, the most elite of elite. So what do they do next? So Izzy's going to be fighting DDP in, when was that? September or something like that? Or August? Whittaker kind of came out of this card unscathed. You got Sean Strickland. Everyone keeps throwing around Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. I think that'd be a great fight for the title. Whoever wins that gets the title fight next. That'd be pretty amazing. Even if they made that as a co-main event I know Robert Whittaker did say that he wanted to come home, have a rest, be with his family and stuff like that. So maybe he does want to take some time out. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see what the plans are. Let me just check something real quick. Let's see, because if he does, I was just thinking, imagine them putting him on the co-main event of that title fight. That would be sick. But let's see, would Strickland fly all the way to Australia? I don't think he will have a problem flying to Australia, to be honest with you. And what happens with IKRAM? I think nothing. He carries on doing what he's doing. He's young. He was 15 anyway. I think he had 2 fights in the UFC. Think about that. Same with think about that. 2 fights in the UFC, and then he gets a main event fight, last minute and whatnot. He was scheduled to fight 2 weeks ago, but last minute fight. headlining against Robert Whittaker, the best in the world, one of the best in the world. Like, what happens? Nothing. He goes back to the drawing board and builds himself up. He was a beast coming up. Maybe this is good for him to be like, okay, there's more work to be done for me to compete in, say, the top 5 or top 3. Because obviously he was smashing people in top 20, top whatever. So cool. Now he can take his time, say, cool, I'll fight someone in the top 15. Let's go with that, and then work his way. So I think nothing changes there. So exciting for the prospect of him as well. Moving on to the co-main event, Sergey versus Alexander Volkov. This was a great fight, an interesting fight, and Alexander I think he used his range, his jab, front kicks, leg kicks to kind of take Sergey. I thought Sergey was going to win this just because of what he's been able to do in the past, but I think Alex was just smart in the sense of using his range and was able to kind of piece him up, busted his face. There was a little bit of animosity there and whatnot. They used to train together, so I guess there was that little beef, like, you know, like, we train together, we're supposed to be boys while we fighting. I don't know. I guess it's the game that they're in, right? I mean, it's just the game and the UFC game. I mean, some camps will be like, no, I doubt you would ever get, I don't know, anyone in Khabib's camp fighting each other. Just say, for example, Usman from Bellator came to UFC. I doubt he would ever. I mean, not even just doubt. I know for a fact that he would never fight Islam. That will never happen. So some camps will be like, no, like, I don't want to. I'm not gonna entertain that. I don't know what happened here, but I think that really upset Sergey. And even after the fight was done, you know, when Alexander came over after he won, Sergey kind of pushed him. Anyway, that little beef. What happens next with these guys? I mean, these guys were top. What number were they, man? Let's check. He was number, where was he ranked? 5th heavyweight. And then Sergey was number 3. There you go. I mean, so these are in the top 5. I think in regards to rankings, nothing changes too much. Maybe they just swap. Maybe Sergey goes 4, Alexander goes 3. You know, we're seeing what happened with the heavyweight division. I think they're doing Jones versus Stipe still, right? I mean, oh my God, it's been such a long wait for that, but I think that's what they want to do in November or something like that. You got Tom Aspinall, who's fighting my guy. Come on, man. Why have I gone blank? Athletes. Let's check this out, man. Why am I going blank, man? Let me open up a new tab for this, though. I don't know why I go blank sometimes, but that's just the way it goes. What, Tank Abbott? They're putting everyone in there. No, let's pull it by Hall of Fame, All Athletes ranking. Why have I gone so blank for? That's what happens. Curtis Blades, bloody hell. Curtis Blades in the UK. We'll see what happens with that. Cyril Gaines up there as well. Yeah, so maybe Alexander fights Cyril Gaines. You know, two great strikers. Curtis Blades versus Tom Aspinall. The winner of that will most probably would have to be the champion because Tom Aspinall is the interim champion. So winner of that will fight the champion. Winner of John Jones versus Stipe will fight Tom Aspinall or Curtis Blades, I would say. Unless they both retire. Could you imagine John Jones like, yeah, no, I've beat the greatest heavyweight who was Stipe in the sense of how many wins he got. And then he's like, yeah, I'm done. And then even with Stipe, if he wins or loses, like, yeah, I'm done. So, you know, Tom Aspinall might just be the champion for that heavyweight division. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Moving on, Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. I mean, this one was another one where Gastelum couldn't make weight. Was made 170, got to 185, but it was a great fight. I mean, it was a good fight. It was a good back and forth fight. Gastelum, man, he gave Izzy one of his best fights. I mean, that was one amazing fight at middleweight, right? It's great. I mean, Gastelum's got loads of potential. It's just that weight thing, man. It's just that weight, the discipline of not eating. I was listening to Fight Companion with Rogan and them lot, and Brendan Schaub was saying Kelvin has got his own YouTube channel called Missing Weight, and that's him eating food and whatnot, and he literally missed weights. It's not a good look. And you know, the UFC don't hate, or Dana White or whatnot. If they hate anything more than anything, it's missing weight. If he was disciplined, man, I mean, there's definitely, he could have been 170 champ before. I don't know about now, but could have been. Remember that when he fought in the not contender, the Ultimate Fighter. You know, Uriah Hall, freaking amazing, and then Gastelum just shuts him down in the finals and whatnot. Gastelum's got so much potential. He's beaten, you know, Bisping. He's beaten Kennedy, Tim Kennedy. This dude's amazing. It's just a shame the discipline of not making weight. But he's got great boxing, great footwork, just absolutely amazing. But he won that. I don't know what happens. Obviously, lose some of his purse. Does he stay at 185? Does he try again 170? Does the UFC just force him to do 185? I don't know. Moving on, Magomedov versus Antonio Trocoli. Sorry if I butchered the name. Shara, the Bullet, obviously, a lot of hype around him. Second fight in the UFC from Dagestan. The guy's got one eye, calls himself the Pirate. He's got a movie role in a Hollywood movie as a villain. This guy is his striking is amazing. Now, this fight, I think his opponent changed 3 times as well. So Antonio, like, shout outs to him for stepping up. And I think Dana White said he'll sort him out for stepping up. Shara was just like, I need to be on this card. And I think for the first Saudi card, you know, Dana wanted to make sure he's on it as well. He's up and coming. There's a lot of hype around him. His striking is amazing. I mean, his striking is so creative. Of his front leg, you know, he throws amazing leg kicks. His front leg, beautiful side kicks, hook kicks, you know, all that sort of stuff. Antonio had like a 9-inch reach advantage. Now, he did come in last minute. It wasn't Saudi. He probably was jet lagged, tired, maybe, you know, whatever, but he stepped up. End of the day, Shara he wasn't able to use his range. At first, he connected with 2 good shots. And then, you know, he was trying to take Shara down. Shara was able to kind of defend the takedowns, which he was criticized with on his first fight because he was taken down. But Shara was like, listen, take me down. I'm throwing elbows from the bottom. I'm throwing knees. So he's cool with that. You know, but you know, Dana's comment was, you know, it's a Dagestani that can't wrestle. Anyway, I'm sure he's working in his wrestling. I won't be surprised if he goes to, you know, with Khabib and them and say, hey, let me train with you guys for now to get this wrestling up. But you know, he was able to stuff all the takedowns and it just using his longest range, which was his front leg, side kicks, throwing lots of leg kicks, again, hook kicks, and ended the round 3, was able to kind of finish just to put it in. I think he was smart as well, rather than trying to impress the crowd and show the hype and all this sort of stuff. I think he was very smart by using his range, or when I say not using his range, but being aware of the range and using his longest weapon, which was his front leg, to kind of piece him up until he knew, you know, it was done. Take him into the later rounds, knowing that he might be jet lagged or whatnot, and just finish him. So shout out to Antonio for taking the fight. And then Shara is just exciting. Can't wait to see more of him. Obviously, he can't fight in the US because I think there's visa issues and whatever, the one eye. I'm sure that they won't sanction him to fight there. But Bo Nickel called him out. That's an exciting fight. You know, he even said that's an interesting fight for him. You know, wrestling. He goes, no problem, brother. Wrestling. I got elbows, I got knees. So we'll see. I'm excited to see more of him. Johnny Walker, light heavyweight. Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozdemir. No time. No time. KO. First round. First 2 minutes. You know, he does Volkan did what he did. Right, he had a good game plan in regards to keeping the range. Johnny Walker is not. I think with Johnny Walker, when he first came on the scene, he had the explosive, wild style, which just worked for him with those opponents, right? And then, you know, he blew his shoulder. He done the worm and he blew his shoulder and he was out for a year and all that sort of stuff. Then he went to SPG in Ireland to kind of calm him down. And I don't know if that calming down style works for him because he's just not. I think, like, if he was still wild, there's this is my opinion. Like, there's going to be this hesitation of, like, I'm not going to get too close. I'm going to keep my distance. I'm going to work my way in, see how wild this guy gets. But because of that wildness has been calmed down, I think, like, you know, Volkan and his team might be like, cool, we can set a pace. We can keep our distance, not too much of a distance. And when the time's right, connect. And Volkan hits hard. But I feel like if he was still wild, there'll be a lot of, like, hesitation to keep that distance or get in a boxing range or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Would Johnny Walker's been knocked out a few times, you know, Jamal Hill, Alexander, what's his name? Sorry. the other guy in light heavyweight. Let me pull it up. Going blank again. Where is he? Magomed Ankalaev in their second fight. What I say, Jamahal Hill, now Volkan Ozdemir. I mean, I don't know. There was so much hype around him, right? Remember, he was supposed to like, could he beat John Jones and all this sort of stuff? And then who beat him? What's his name? Corey Anderson? Was it Corey Anderson? He beat him, and he was pissed because everyone kind of like was like hyping on Johnny Walker. So Corey Anderson beat him and then left the UFC. You know, what can you do, man? It is what it is. It's just a fight game, isn't it? I mean, it's just the way it is. And then at high level, I guess you can't be that wild. And trying to find that balance of wild and calm might be Johnny Walker's thing, because at least the wildness, even if he connects or doesn't connect, or it's a threat, almost like, let's not get too close, man. Let's not get too close and comfortable. This guy's gonna come up with something wild. Volkan done what he did, connected, finished him off. Good win for him. And then moving on to the prelims, the Nasrat versus Gerard was a great fight, great back and forth fight. These guys went at it, actually. This was a great fight. It almost felt like a boxing fight. I know Jordan did shoot a few times, and Nasrat was able to stuff it, but it almost became like a boxing fight. It was a great back and forth fight. They even stood in the middle at the end, just kind of swinging. It was an awesome fight between those two. Muhammad versus Felipe. Felipe was new to the UFC. I did not expect it. I know not much about him, to be honest. I didn't know much about Muhammad either. But I thought if anyone's gonna win, for some reason I thought like Muhammad was gonna win by grappling, but Felipe was able to get the choke, which was amazing. Took his back, get the choke in. That was kind of amazing. Maybe Muhammad didn't expect him to go for the rear naked choke, because that went in quick. So that was awesome. So congrats to him. And he's an amazing striker, actually. He was a great striker, Felipe. So look forward to seeing more of him. What else with the prelims? It's kind of, I guess, all the ones I wanted to touch on. So yeah, that was awesome. Great card in the UFC in Saudi. I heard, I mean, they're gonna do more, and I think the Saudi dude, I can't remember his name, but he's looking to do more UFCs, power slap, all this sort of stuff. They're into combat, man. They're making all the boxing stuff happen. They got the millions and not millions. They got the trillions. Forget the billions. They got the trillions to spend to make more of these. So I expect some big things in the UFC and Saudi. That's gonna be exciting. He even threw something out about Zack Snyder making the UFC movie or MMA. Was it UFC movie? And he appreciates Zack Snyder's creative vision. Could you imagine that? That'll be pretty awesome. I'm gonna talk about that on the podcast with Kibbs this week. Let's see what his thoughts are. But I'll be interested. I mean, I think expect some big things. What's the next fight card? Oh, that's it. We got 303 coming up June 30th. So damn, that's next week. Big one. Obviously, McGregor was supposed to be on it. He pulled out due to injury. He broke his toe. He gave his thoughts. He was like, you know what? Why should I give an advantage to these people when I was young, build coming up? He stepped up, and he did step up when he fought, like, you know, Chad Mendes and all that. So I first he was all injured with those ones. So now he's like, why should I, and especially coming off that leg break and all that sort of stuff, like, why should I give these people an advantage? I'm going to come in at 100%. So whatever. Anyway, he broke his toe. He's out. Dana White, people were asking him, when do you think he's going to fight? He's like, when he's ready, we'll talk about that. Until that moment, he's out, right? So let's not talk about things. But they put up Pereira versus I can't even pronounce his surname. This Yuri, which is a rematch. It's gonna be a fun fight. Pereira, man, he's stepping up, man. Ever since he came in, nothing but title fights, right? What do you have? 2 normal fights or 3 at middleweight, and then everything else has been title fights at middleweight, light heavyweight. This guy is definitely going to be up there pound for pound and building his legacy, man. It feels like such a short run, but building his legacy, going to be exciting. Hopefully me and K West could do a fight talk about this one. I would say we'll do live reactions, but I'm in the UK, man, so it's going to be early. So that might be tough. And then also I'm at home, so the kids are around. It won't be the same. We got Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. It's going to be another fun fight. Anthony Smith versus Roman Deloitte. which has changed 3-4 times. Supposed to be Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. I think Roundtree was out, and then someone else stepped in, and then Jamal Hill was out, and then Anthony Smith stepped in, and the other person, forgive me, I forgot their name, stepped out. Freaking crazy, but Anthony Smith, this is the one that's on. Yeah, man, this is fight I'm looking forward to. Ian Gary versus Michael Page, Venom Page. This, I feel like that could have been co-main event, to be honest with you, in my opinion, just in regards to like the excitement. I think Michael, for me, MVP brings in excitement. I feel like he could have, because of him, it could have been, and even Ian, he brings excitement too. He could have bring in, this could have been co-main event, in my opinion. Exciting fight anyway. I can't wait for this. I look, MVP per fan. I would want him to win, but Ian is a great sniper of a striker, man. So this is going to be a fun. I mean, when I say sniper, Venom Page is also a sniper, but he's like a moving sniper. I don't know. It's going to be an amazing fight. Can't wait for that. Who else is on the prelims? Cobb Swanson's on it. Oh, Peyton's on it. We spoke about him last time. He had an amazing performance last time. So looking forward to seeing Peyton fight. Michelle Woodson's on it. Karate Hottie. Andre Arlovski. This guy, freaking hell, man. This guy's freaking still doing it. Yeah, Ricky Simone. All right, this is going to be a great card. Hopefully me and K West can touch base on this one after we watched it. But UFC 303, it's going to be fun. All right, let's move on to some news. Oh, no, actually, you know what? Me and K, I discovered, and I should have discovered this before, what's his name? Zabit. Remember Zabit? Who was exciting and retired. He could have been up there in the flyweight division. His brother, check this out. 360 roundhouse kick. What's his name? Let me get his full name. Let me get his full name. I got it here. Got to give this guy respect. I mean, we were hyped on Zabit, and Kashan. Now Hassan Magomed Sharipov, Zabit's brother, 10-0, I think it is. Is that 10-0? They just had a Bellator card in Dublin. I had no idea, as bad as this guy existed. We were all hyped on Zabit, but look at this guy, man. I mean, I got it. We got to keep an eye out for this guy. Look, spinning back kick. This is in the third round. Apparently, this little highlight. You know, almost like a sunshine kick, a 360 freaking roundhouse kick in the third round. Last couple minutes. Someone to look out for. Zabit was so great, and if his brother's as good as him, and it looks like it, and he's young, I think early 20s, this is gonna be exciting. Hopefully, I don't know, man. I would love for the UFC to snatch him up. We didn't get Zabit, but let's get his brother. Not when I say let's get him, I mean he's fighting for Bellator. I don't do nothing with UFC, but look at that, man. Exciting prospect. Someone to look out for. I had no idea existed, but at least we're getting some sort of Zabit type dude back, which is his brother. So exciting to keep someone to keep an eye out for. And if you didn't know who he existed, just like me and K West, well, now you know. This is amazing. Let's check some news. Let's quickly go through this. What do we got? Anything to quickly give thoughts on? Ryan Garcia, he was banned from boxing because of the banned substance. I don't know much about boxing, so I can't really comment, to be honest with you. What else? You know what? Kind of talk through all of this. Oh, one of the Bellator, Ramazan Karamagomedov, outside decision. He became a champion, right, to claim welterweight title. I did see him like getting shout outs on, you know, the Khabib crew's instas and whatnot. So I wonder if he's a part of that crew. Another Dagestani just taking over, man. It's crazy. That's it, you know. The other thing I wanted to touch on, yeah, Paige Van Zandt, she's gonna be on Power Slap. So that's Dana saying, you know, getting some popular names and UFC names and whatnot over to Power Slap. That's interesting. Oh yeah, shout out to MMAfighting.com. That's where I'm getting my news from anyway. Paige Van Sant, man, I feel like she just stick to. She's like obviously stunning, and she's a fighter without a doubt. She's a fighter. MMA. She's done boxing, bare knuckle. She's doing this slap thing now. Like she's a fighter. She wants to fight. Why? I don't know. Absolutely stunning. She just stick to like OnlyFans, man. Make that money there, man. She's very stunning. I don't know why she wants to destroy her face with all the fighting as well as like, it's like bare knuckle and slap fighting. I don't know why she did it, but she's got, I think what it is, her heart, man. She's got massive heart, but she's absolutely stunning. I wish she just wouldn't. Let's see what happens with Conor McGregor child and Michael Chandler. I mean, McGregor made a comment saying Chandler would have to fight 10 fights to make the amount of money that Chandler would make with McGregor. So what does that mean? I mean, does Chandler just wait for that fight and make that big money fight? It's been 2 years now. Would there be ring rust and all that sort of stuff? Could he have made millions while he was fighting? Would he have just lost the opportunity? I don't know. Let's see how long he holds out for. He could be losing, I mean, years on his career. I don't know. Maybe he just wants to make that money fight, man. That's what it's about, right? If he's got the opportunity to make that big money fight, then why not? Why not? Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen. So there was a lot of comments on this saying they look like a sparring match. So I saw some highlights. I didn't watch the whole fight, but from the highlights, it did look like it. They weren't looking at it. But apparently, I've heard that there was an agreement with no knockouts or something. So maybe it was kind of like that, right? But it did look like they were just touching each other or whatnot. So anyway, listen, Anderson Silva's a legend. He's got nothing to prove. I'm glad this was it. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is it. His retirement from fighting. I hope so. Don't want to see him get hurt anymore. Absolute legend. It did look like a sparring fight though. With like, I don't know, 70%, 50%, whatever. Doesn't bother me really. Cool. Well, look, I'm going to keep it quick, short, and simple this week. Wanted to just give you the thoughts on the fights, and yeah, hopefully next week UFC 303. So hopefully me and K we can figure out our timing. With London and Thailand, it's a lot more tougher, obviously. But I would love to get him back on so we could touch base on that card because that's gonna be a fun one. Regardless, if not, I'll give a solo one. At least want to keep these going every week. I know it's sometimes inconsistent, but just want to share my thoughts with the fights, really. I'm a geek over the fights, love geeking out of the fights, love watching them every week, especially UFC and MMA specifically. And I appreciate everyone kind of supporting and watching and giving, like, yeah, supporting and watching and whatnot, man. Just us geeking out. That's what it is. That's what the channel's about. Geeking out over what we love. And this is part of it. All right, guys, I am gonna be out. We'll be back next week. Thank you for watching, subscribing, liking, all that other good stuff. Really appreciate you. And I'm out. Peace.